Welcome everyone, as we're sponsored by the Fisher family, Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shalom Ben Aram Alevi, Pel Bas Reuven. We're also sponsored by Nishmas Dav Ben Chaim, Lefu Shalem Fel Yomis Ben Chaisar, Yaakov Ben Basi Alei, and for the schus of Avram and Yom Ben Ish Malk Yudis and family. We're sponsored by Yod Klugman and family for their Panos Gzun Nachas. We're sponsored Lefu Shalem for Avigdor Ben Rivka in the Bas Chaisar, Chana Bas Shosha Ben Rivka Bas Shir Alei, Yitzhak Ben Tzim Ben Dusha, Mishna Ben Esther Fradel, and Meir ben Chayesar. They should all have a refu shalema b'sei shachar Yisrael. So the Mishna Zayin in the second parak tells us, Oshim Toli, that's in a case where if Shelley would eat a piece of forbidden chaylev, he would bring a chatas. If he had two pieces of meat before them, and he ate one, and he doesn't know if he ate the kosher meat or the chaylev meat, so then he brings an Oshim Toli, a Oshim brought in the case of doubt. Now, the Oshim Toli is brought by Hayochid Vanosi Chayev, brought by an individual. It's brought by the Melech. However, Mashiach Bezdin Peturin. The Kayim Mashiach or Bezdin in the case of doubt is Potter. The Bezdin is Potter from a Par Helam Davar Shel Tzibur, and the Mashiach is Potter from the Par Kayin Mashiach. Oshim Vadai. What about an Oshim Vadai? There are 5 different Hashamas. So let's take for one example the Oshim Mila. If somebody commits trespass on an item of hektish worth a shava pruta, so that oshim can be brought by hayochid, by an individual, va'nasi, and by the king, va'mashiach chayavim. But if Bezdin erroneously paskins on something of an isser of an oshim, or Bezdin peturim. Now, al shmiyas kol, about an oath of utterance. Al shmiyas hakol, about an oath, about testimony. Valbitus v'sayim, an oath of utterance, when he doesn't keep his shvua. Val tumas mikdash kedoshev, and for entering the mikdash when tamei, or eating kachim when tamei. Now all of these are not a chatas kavua, but rather are a carbon oil v'yoret, sliding scale according to one's wealth. Bezdin peturin, there's no power helam davar shel tzibur by a carbon oil v'yoret. Vayachi v'nasi v'mashiach chayavim. An individual and a nasi and the Mashiach is chayiv, except ela she'ein kohen gadol chayiv al tumas mikdash v'kedasha. The kohen gadol is not chayiv in a case where he makes an error of entering the mikdash b'tuma or eating kachim b'tuma. Reb Shimon learns that out from a special miyat in a pasuk. Divrei Reb Shimon. Or Mahain Mavim, what do the Yachid Nasi and the Mashiach bring? A carbon oil of a Yored, a sliding scale carbon. Rabbi Lazar, no. Rabbi Lazar says the Melech doesn't bring a sliding scale carbon. The Melech always brings a sire, a he-goat. Now, if you remember, we said that the Melech does not bring for Shmias Kerl, because the Melech doesn't give testimony, so he can never have an oath of testimony. Now we start the third parak, Mishna Aleph, Kayim Mashiach Shechata. Let's say the Kayim Mashiach ruled erroneously, and then did an Isser Chatas Kavua, but before he brought his carbon, V'akakach Ovem Mishichusai, he was removed from his post of Kain Gadol. Or v'chein nasi shechata, or if the melech sinned, v'achkach over migdulasai, and then he was removed from his post as king, says the Gemara, they bring according to what they were at the time of the sin. So therefore, Kayim Mashiach Mevi Par, the Mishnah says, Kayim Mashiach brings a bull, v'anasi Mevi Sar, because it's not determined by the time he brings it, when he's no more a Kayim Mashiach or a king, but it's at the time of the sin. And since at the time of the sin he was a Kohen Gadol or a king respectively, they bring their karbanas, a Kohen Mashiach, his bull, and a king, his sar, his a goat. We want to remind you again that we are looking for a sponsor for this week's share on Pinchas, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Also, remember that we have a special shir at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow, a chizik about benching, and that's at 11:30 a.m. at our normal Zoom coordinates of zoomdaf.com with meeting code RMMW, all in caps. Tomorrow night's daf is at a special time, Motzi Shavas B'Tammuz at 10:15 p.m. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.